Jordan Brinkman,
Good to meet you.
welcome to our Contractor Spotlight. Eveready Electric. So you've been a member of ABC for a while. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what Eveready does?
Yeah, so we're an electrical contractor in the Milwaukee area, and we do a lot of residential, but primarily commercial and industrial work. We've been around for, I think since 2008.
Okay.
My dad started the company back then after being a master electrician for probably 35 years, and he just needed some additional help, and I was available and ready and willing, and we've been doing a lot of cool stuff
The
since
joys
then.
of being the kid working for
Exactly,
Electric.
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So what areas do you work in now? Are you still kind of pretty much just the Milwaukee area, or have you expanded out
Yeah,
beyond that?
mostly Milwaukee. We've got
Okay.
a lot of guys who have a lot of family life, and they don't like to travel a whole ton, so we stay pretty close to home, and that's what works for our team, and that's what we do. So.
Excellent. Sounds like seem to get that theme a lot with a lot of these contractor spotlights. It seems like there's a lot of them that tend to stay kind of in their area versus expanding
Sure.
statewide
Sure.
or whatnot.
Yeah.
So what's it like to work there? Beyond you'll be home every night. What
Right.
if I were applying for Eveready, what would I be doing?
Sure. Well, I guess that depends on what your skills are, right?
Okay.
But I think you're probably referring to what it's like to work in the field.
Yes, exactly.
What I really appreciate about our company is that we do so much to support our field staff. We understand that they are the heart and soul of everything that we do, and if they're not successful, nobody's successful. And when they are successful, we're all that much better off. So it is sometimes difficult to bridge that gap between what do we need to be doing in the office to support the field, but we ask them a lot of questions, sometimes more than they like, but we do what we need to do to get down to the nuts and bolts of what do you actually need for your job to go smoother and for your work to be more enjoyable for you, and for us to feel like we're working as a team. That's something that we really like to feel, that there isn't a huge division between what's happening in the field and what's happening in our office. And I think that gap has been closing more and more as time has gone on, and that's something that we're really proud of.
Excellent. So is that something your dad brought in? Was that part of his reason for starting Eveready, or
As far as closing that gap between
providing more training, more of that connection?
Sure,
Because
sure.
usually, again, when you work for somebody else, you either have
Right,
that entrepreneurial
right.
spirit, or you see them doing something you don't like, so then you break off and do your own.
Well, I think he started the business because he wanted to be able to make a greater impact himself in the lives of his employees that he was looking at bringing on. And we are very aligned in that mentality. I know he wanted to do his own thing and be able to provide better employment and better lives for his people. And I very much align with that myself. That was one of the reasons that I left my various corporate jobs that I had been in, because I said, I can do this, or I can work in a smaller environment where you're working more one-on-one with people and making a more individual impact in their lives. To me is huge and very rewarding. And it's cool that you always differ when you're working with your family. You always
Sure.
have different ideas of how things should be done, but
Right.
that's something that we're really aligned on,
Okay.
and that's exciting.
So is your dad still actively involved, or has he kind of stepped back?
Yeah, he's focuses probably 90% of his time in the field. He'll come into the office if we have questions or if we need
Okay.
him, but he's out running our crews, training our guys, teaching them what needs to be done, and really making sure that our client has a good experience in the end.
Okay.
Because that's something that we think is really important. I mean, construction it can go really well if everyone's communicating together,
Yes.
and it can go equally as poorly if you're not, and we like to make sure that it goes well. And
Excellent.
the more investment we have in those relationships with our customers and with their end customers, right? That's something that we find really important, because we're not just here to keep our guys busy. We're not here to pick up tools and do things. Like, we're
Right.
here to help our clients have a positive experience in the end and help them achieve their goals. And that's a really it's a really nice thing to be able to do as a team together.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, you stepped into the role how long ago?
About I want to say 5 years ago.
Okay, so your dad's out in the field. What do you typically do behind the scenes
Sure.
to keep things going?
So I have kind of shifted that a little bit, working more on developing client relationships and making sure that our projects are being managed in a way that helps everybody have all the information they need when they have it. So
Sure.
heavy on the project management, but I'm trying to step a little bit more into the actual relationship with the client and helping them think about, okay, well, what is it that maybe you didn't think of that we as the electrical experts are able to step in and maybe notice some things that they missed and just doing what we can to provide the expertise of the field that we're in. So, and of course, there's all the administrative things and insurance and accounting and finance.
All the fun
and,
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
The stuff that has to happen. But
Yeah.
the stuff that we like to do is really see what we can do to deliver a little bit extra.
Sure. So what are some of the projects you're excited about right now?
Right now, we're doing a couple of kids' empire stores. It's like
Okay.
a play place for kids, and there's a spot for their parents to hang out and have coffee while they're
Nice.
climbing around and getting rid of all their extra energy. So that's been really fun. And one of them just recently opened, and one of our guys took his kids there on one of the opening weekends, and
Sweet.
they had a really good time. So that's cool to just see it from beginning to end, and then you get to enjoy it yourself. So that's fun.
Excellent.
Previously, we've done a lot of work in the 3rd Street Market Hall downtown, and just to go in there and see how the city has adopted that spot as like a new hangout. And I don't know how much time you spend in Milwaukee, but if you've
Been down to the Third Ward a couple times.
yeah. So it's really cool to see so many different small businesses and people enjoying those small businesses in the same place. It's like, yes, okay, this is what we want to do. We've had an impact in the city. We can see it happening, and that's always a luxury, right? When it's a public space that you can go and enjoy yourself, and that's something our guys really like.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So where's Eveready Electric going in the future?
Yeah, so our vision is to become an employer of choice in the construction industry and to help our clients and our team reach new heights. And it's exciting to think about that, right? Because we want to be a place where people love to work, and people's jobs, we spend so much time working. And if you have a place where you work, where you feel invested and engaged and fulfilled, there's really nothing that can beat that, right? As opposed to, going and getting a paycheck, and you can do all those things, but we want to be a place where people can truly feel that they can bring their whole self to work and really feel that fulfillment that comes from, I did a good job, I felt respected, I was able to maybe give something to my team, and that's what we're creating. And we spend a lot of time and energy in creating that, and it's exciting to see us take steps in that direction, and our guys are liking it. So
Excellent.
That's cool. We also are really focusing on training, because there's so many things that you run into in the field, and there's always a bit of that, throw you into the deep end and see how you handle it. But we don't want that to be the way that we engage our workforce, So we've done a lot of building out of an internal training curriculum of all of the different skills that people have to learn, and checking them off as the years go on, and sort of like an informal apprenticeship, sort of.
Sure.
But making sure that people aren't going years without happening to run across the specific skill that they really should have in the field, and doing what we can to ensure that they're prepared and that they feel good and confident when they walk onto a job site. So when I say employer of choice, that's kind of what we have in mind, is what kind of a culture do you have, and what kind of training do you have to support the people that choose to invest their time with you?
Excellent.
Yeah.
So ABC's got to be part of that too, because
It sure
that's
is.
why we're here.
Yeah.
So tell me about why you joined ABC.
So I think I'm a little bit of an odd duck in that sense, but the thing that got me into ABC originally was the peer group program, which is so beneficial for someone like myself who stepped into the trades leading a business without having a ton of experience behind me in construction. So what ABC did was they found 7 other electrical contractors from around the country and put me in a group with them, and they said, here's your people, talk about whatever you want. And they kind of let us go, and now we meet 2 or 3 times a year, and we just kind of put everything on the table together, and we say, what are you struggling with? What resources do I have that I can give you? What do you have that you can give me? And just being in a room with 7 other owners who have been down my road before and who are a couple of steps ahead of me, or sometimes a lot of steps ahead of me, and being able to learn from them, that's been really amazing. And the fact that they all have the ABC mentality amongst them, even though we're from different parts in the country,
Right.
ABC brings together people with that same sort of mindset of wanting to move the industry forward together and be the best versions of our companies that we can be. And it's really great to have that exposure to them. So that was what got me involved with ABC in the first place. Since then, I mean, there's all of the networking events, and you meet so many great people there. There's serving on the HR committee, which is kind of how before my peer group got organized, the HR committee was where I kind of got my feet wet and started meeting people and getting to know faces and kind of getting into the ABC ecosystem, sort of, and helping plan the HR and accounting conference each year has been great to feel like I can give back to all of the many member companies that have helped me since I've gotten involved. And I mean, everyone says you get out what you put in, right?
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's so true. If you really invest your time into these relationships, we're all here for the same reason, you know, and it's to make this industry better across the board and to honor the people that decide to enter the industry themselves. And I think that's a really great opportunity, and being able to give back while getting so much yourself, I think it feels kind of selfish, but but it's good when ABC provides that structure for really good people doing really good things to come together and do it as a team.
Yeah.
So
That's an awesome message.
I'm glad to hear it.
Well, thanks for being
Glad to
part,
be
of,
part of it.
of ABC. Thanks for participating in Contractor Spotlight.
Yeah.
And really appreciate you coming out.
Well, thanks much. It's good to be here.
Thanks.